Thanks to our sponsor, Donedeal.ie, we bring you Business Bites, the best bits of that great business show, served up in individual servings.
Donedeal Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Donedeal. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit Donedeal.ie today to start the search for your next car.
From episode 126, Sharon Farrell, founder Face Credit Consultancy, explains how to get paid. Now, how much to charge for your goods or services, and more importantly, how to get paid that amount, or two perennial questions in business. One day I'll find the person who really has cracked the pricing issue. However, on the subject of how to get paid, and it's important, we have Sharon Farrell, who was once a credit controller for Ratcatcher's Rent-A-Kill, which I think is poetic. I only mention that because I think it's funny. 4 years ago, she set up her own business in Nace called Face, F-A-C-E. She also hosts her own podcast, The Credit Pearls, and in the next 20 minutes, she's going to rattle through as many tips as she can to make sure your business gets paid. Sharon Farrell, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you, Conal. Thank you very much. That's a lovely intro, a nice long intro. Very nice to be here. Thank you.
Do you like to bit about Rent-A-Kill?
I do. I have loads of stories about Rent-A-Kill.
And rats.
Yes. And
but none that work
everything.
there. They're nice people. You spent 11 or 12 years there.
I did, yes. Yeah.
How do you get paid?
Okay. And I think I will start by saying everybody is looking for the silver bullet when it comes to getting paid.
Indeed. So
yes.
are we.
Yeah. And like fitness, there is no silver bullet. It is all of the small things that you do in your business. But I will break it down today for everybody to understand. I would always say 3 things are important. What we do before we get paid, what we do at the point of sale, and what we do after. And they're the 3, I suppose, pillars of credit management. So will I kick off with what we do before?
You keep going there.
Okay. So when we think about before we sell, a little bit of due diligence about the customer or our prospects.
Now, I saw that. If Mrs. Murphy or Mr. Murphy is selling to somebody, how do you find out that who you are selling to is a good person to sell to? I know you can go and get credit checks and stuff like that.
Yes.
They cost money.
Yes, they do. So there's very cheap ones that you can get. I use Solo Check sometimes, and they will give you the correct legal entity, which is important. So are we dealing with a sole trader, a partnership, a limited company? And that information, I think for €2 or €3, you'll find out the correct legal entity, which is important. But a credit application form. So gathering the information that you need, how long they're in business, the type of clientele that they have, and always ask for a reference from one of the current suppliers. It's something I've done for over 25 years. It's quite old-fashioned, but you will get that information from their current suppliers.
But you were dealing on behalf of large companies like Rent-A-Kill.
Yes.
When you're Mrs. Murphy's corner shop, you can't go asking about whether the person you're selling to or trying to get money from is credit worthy. You can ask, but you're not inclined to because you're just struggling in business.
It's to ask them, do they have references? So people that they deal with that you can ask, what are they like? You don't have to ask in-depth information, but just what has your experience been like dealing with this particular business?
But if you just stop you again. They're my brand new customer. I can't ask the brand new customer, they give me a credit reference? Can they? Can I?
Of course you can.
Does
Absolutely.
that not look awful?
No. If you're buying a mobile phone from Vodafone today and they want to set you up on, they're going to ask you for all of your relevant information and to pay on direct debit.
That's Vodafone, a large corporation. I'm going back again to our lovely listeners who are all teeny weeny little corporations.
And I'm a small business. and I ask all of my customers.
Do you?
Yeah. I ask them for all the details, how long they're in business, and then I will do a bit of research around who their customers are, and I'll always ask them for a reference check. And most people don't mind. If they've nothing to hide, they have no problem giving you that information.
Okay, that's fair enough.
No problem.
So, what is the next tip?
So when you've done your bit of due diligence, you have collected the information at the point of sale. So I have my credit application form filled out. Your contracts are really, really, really important. Now, there are the local enterprise offices there that will help you to create a proper application form and a proper contract. Please get them signed. Most people, when we're in business, we're all in business, we're used to signing contracts. So do reach out to the Leo if you don't have somebody in your business that can help you do that and get a good, solid contract in place.
This is like being at the psychoanalyst. It's probably saying more about me than about the subject. Is when you start looking now for a signed contract and you're only just starting out with somebody, they're going to say, God, this guy's nuts. Like he's going to tie me up in knots.
I think the contract doesn't need to be a 12-page contract with all legal terminology. It's a contract to protect you and them. This is how we do business. I'm going to provide you with X, Y and Z service or X, Y and Z product, and our terms of sale are this. And that's to protect you and them. But really, if something does go wrong, you always can go back to your contract. And I've seen time and time again where customers or clients of ours take on a new client, they don't get the contract signed, and when something goes wrong, they've nowhere to fall back, and the loss of revenue for those small businesses, it really has a detrimental impact. So I know people are frightened of it, but don't be. People who are in business are used to contracts. They're used to having these conversations. They themselves understand what it's like to get paid and to ensure that they have cash flow coming in. So it's not something to fear. It's a mindset thing. We're frightened of it, but don't be. And it's really, really important to protect your business and to help you grow your business. We all need cash flow in our business to grow. So it's so, so, so important to look after these small things. And as I said, if you don't have the expertise in your business to help you create a contract, reach out to the Leo. Ask them for those supports and ask them for mentorship. They're available for the smaller businesses out there.
I thought you were going to sell yourself there because Face does do courses, am I right?
We do.
You better give yourself a shout out.
Yes, we do. So we will train, so it's different type of courses that we have. It stands for Farrell, which is me, Assessment, which is our consultancy, Collections, which is our outsourced credit control, and Education is our training. So we train teams and we train sole traders on how best to manage credit in their business. And we do give tips and ideas and we do help them with their contracts. But as I said, we're not the only people that do that. If they're looking for a lower cost, if they're starting out today and they're saying, how do I get a robust contract? Do reach out to the Leos as well.
We love the Leos.
We do.
Which Leo do you use? Is that
Kildare,
the Kildare?
Leo. Yeah, they're fantastic.
Shout out to Kildare Leo. Good people.
Very good.
Next tip, please.
Okay, so when we're at the point of sale, and this is where people fall down. So they have their contract, they have their terms of sale, they've done their homework, they think, okay, Connell is a good guy, I want to do business with him, but they don't ask the correct questions. Particularly if you're doing business with a bigger business. So if you're growing, you're now dealing with maybe a large SME or a multinational, they have their internal payment processes that we may not understand. For instance, 30 days to you might mean 30 days from when I send my invoice.
Yes.
30 days to me might mean 30 days from month end or 30 days from when I receipt your invoice. So 30 days can mean different things. Also, the larger or more corporate businesses might have things like they require a purchase order number. They require a vendor setup form. They require for that purchase order number to be signed off by a certain person, then sent to accounts, and accounts have to verify you and set up your bank details. Now, if you don't ask all of those questions or ask what is your internal payment process, you could be left waiting. And that's very, very difficult for smaller businesses.
Here's one that you cannot sort out, but that I saw myself, is when the person who effectively made the purchase or organised left.
Yeah.
And the invoice went through the cracks.
Yeah.
And the lady had left, never to be seen again. And therefore, there were questions over who ordered this.
And she no longer works here. And that's why at the point of sale, I'm going to ask for the accounts person that I need to deal with. So you're the buyer generally. I'm dealing with you and I'm going to say, Connell, who's the person in accounts that I need to liaise with to ensure that all my documentation and get that information at the point of sale. Don't be frightened to have the conversation. It's really, really important that you're opening up that dialogue early and that you don't leave it till your invoice falls due and then you find out Sheila has left. She no longer works here. You were never set up as a vendor. We don't have your bank details. The purchase order number wasn't GRN. I've heard it all.
Wasn't GRN?
A good receipts note. So that has to be, it's just all internal dialogue that we may not understand, particularly if you have never worked in the corporate world and you're a small business starting off. So ask at the point of sale, please ask, what is their internal payment process? Who is the person that authorises the payment? And who is the person that press sends, that will send it from your bank account into my bank account? So do ask those questions at the point of sale. It's really, really important.
So next,
we are going to talk about the collection of your outstanding invoices. So what you need to do as a business, okay? So we've gone through our process. Now we have all the information that we need. The one thing that I see a lot of businesses doing is not sending the invoice on time. So they let it go a month or 2 weeks and they don't have a mechanism in place, particularly in small businesses, for somebody to send the invoice out. And then they're left waiting. Delayed invoices out means delayed cash in.
Okay, how about that you delay your invoicing by 3 or 6 months and then going to collect it? What's the, like, it comes back on you as the sender of the invoice. What's the best way to deal with that? Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend is to go back, if you can, to the person that you bought from or that agreed for the sale to go through. Explain that there's been a delay in payment or delay in issuing invoicing. You can blame your system and say there was a glitch in your account system and something went wrong, and say, look, I'm going to send the invoice now. Can you expedite that payment? So again, if I think of one word for credit control, it's communication. It's always communicate with your customer. Really, really, really important. So get your invoices out on time and make sure that they're correct. They're going to the correct legal entity. We've spoke about that earlier on. We have the correct rates, the correct VAT rate. We have our purchase order number on the invoice. So don't give your customer any reason to delay that payment, because some of them love a nice reason to delay the payment.
That is a question for you now. Do you think that some payments units are actually instructed to find reasons to delay payments? Or?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
What would I...
My suspicions are now confirmed.
More often I would see that the internal payment process hasn't been understood. So you didn't ask the right questions and it feels like they're delaying you because they're saying, oh no, you need a purchase order number. Now you need that purchase order number signed off. Now, so sometimes it's because there's a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, but sometimes it is genuinely a delay tactic.
And something that I learned from you, from your website, is that we in Ireland are different to some of the countries in Europe about credit.
Yes.
As you say, or as your website says, European countries take credit far more seriously.
Yes, they do. And because their legal system is slightly different than ours. So if I want to sue you for debt, for non-payment, number one is I need to prove that that debt is due to me. It's not up to you to prove it's not. It's up to me to prove that it is. It's a very long, drawn-out process in this country and it can be quite expensive. So people do know that. In other European countries, it's quite quick and it can turn around in a matter of months. So that will then lead to a different type of attitude to credit in this country, and it has. Also, what I found, so I did some work in Germany and in Holland. They couldn't understand this barter kind of thing. So you owe me €10,000, I'll give you 9.5. We'll call it a day and, shake hands. And that happens here a lot. And it doesn't happen in a lot of other European countries. And they just couldn't understand this. But it's an Irish way. Yeah. It's cultural. So it's about, understanding that, but reducing the risk of that happening. So I have everything there in black and white. I'm not going to let it get to a stage where I'm so under pressure for that €10,000 that I'm going to accept 9.5 because I just want to get my money and walk away. So when we understand all of this, it's easier for us to say, I'm going to ask for the money now. I'm going to make sure I have my contract. I'm going to make sure that everything is signed, sealed and delivered. And it's easier for me to ask for that money.
Next tip, please.
So for smaller businesses, we get your invoicing out on time. Have a person in your business that isn't afraid to pick up the phone and ask for payment. So we offer outsourced credit control, but if that's not something businesses want to do, they might know somebody else in the business that has that skill set. What is the skill set? It is like the personality of a salesperson with the mind of an accountant. So very unique set of skills, but somebody like that in your business that is able to communicate with your clients. They're not going to upset them by being overly aggressive, but they're going to get around them in another way. But they're essentially going to get your money in. If you are the person that's selling the product, delivering the product, negotiating a contract, it can be tricky then to ask for the payment. So it's nice to put somebody in front of you to say, okay, this person is going to look after that side. And it distances you, and you can always blame them. You know, say, well, Sharon wouldn't let the order go. She's terrible, you know. She's in our office. She doesn't let the orders out. So you can use that person as a means to not allowing any more orders out the door until payment has been received. So that's a lovely way to, especially when you're starting off. You might not have a huge finance team, but
you won't have a huge finance.
You'll have. I don't, but I have a team of credit controllers, which makes it a little bit different for me. But that's where I knew that this business model would really work. Initially, I thought, Conal, that people would really want the consultancy, but they wanted the work done. So the outsourced credit control really grew for us because they saw, yes, we're a very professional business. We have a way of getting around people. We don't upset their clients, but then there's money in the bank. And I was surprised at the amount of people that just said, the consultancy is great, lovely, yeah, but can you do it for me? And that's what people wanted, because for some reason, and I don't understand it, people don't like to ask for money. I do, but a lot of people don't.
It's an Irish thing, you know that.
It is.
And it's good news for you because you've made a business out of it.
Yeah.
Now you're going to run out of time. So you better give me your top last tip.
My top tip would be record all of your credit control action. You don't need to have a sophisticated system where it's an account system that logs everything. If you have a diary, write it down in the diary. What Conal said, what I said, we agreed he'd pay €1,000. I said I'm going to call him next week. I call him and I have the notes written there to say what happened. That's really, really important. And if you are going down the legal route, you have to be able to produce that evidence to say, I made a concerted effort to collect this debt. Otherwise, they won't take you seriously in court. So please document all of your credit control action.
And simple as just writing it in a diary.
That will do. In court, absolutely. I've seen where it's been thrown out of court because somebody couldn't produce the evidence to say, I did make a concerted effort to contact it myself or to collect the money myself. And a diary will do, ideally, an Excel spreadsheet will do, ideally in an account system. But if we don't have them, your diary will absolutely do.
Well, I wouldn't suggest that our listeners would ever do anything like this, but you can always enter a diary, can't you?
You can, but if you made a phone call, your phone records will show that you actually did make that phone call. And I did speak to
So you're on to me already, okay.
Yeah, I'm on to you already.
Okay, final one. Anything else?
Communication. Think of keep the lines of communication open always, through email, through phone, or face-to-face. People think that's why we set up the face credit consultancy. But the communicating with your clients is so important to get paid. And you will find out information if they're going through a hard time, if times are hard. You'll find that out if you make a phone call. They won't put it in writing, but if you pick up the phone, you will get that information from your clients.
Did you ever come, because I'm going to find somebody who can do this, did you ever come across anybody who was brilliant at setting a price? The numbers of people who come to me and say, what should I charge? It's a very difficult one, isn't it?
Blaise Brosnan. Have you heard of Blaise
I have,
Brosnan?
and I've tried to get Blaise onto here. We'll have another go at Blaise.
Have a go at Blaise.
He
I
always
can
tells me
reach
he's
out
too
to
busy.
him for you. He's a very busy man. But I was on a course recently through the Leo with Blaise. It's an owner management business course. He is fantastic, and he gave me some amazing tips around pricing.
Great. Blaise, we're going to find you. Your final question, Sharon. Who would you hire in a heartbeat?
Who would I hire in a heartbeat? 2 people. There's one guy that I've been trying to get on my team. He works for EBS. His name is Brian Tyrrell. I just think his knowledge of the financial system and the financial markets is incredible. So I'd love to have him. I've told him that, but he won't move. And I love Ciara Kelly from News Talk.
Yeah.
I think she's amazing. She's not afraid to speak her mind, but her arguments are always backed up with generally scientific, but a lot of...
She's got the smart, she's a doctor.
The research.
Yeah.
So she's not just making random points. So I really like Ciara. I listen to her a lot.
Did you contact her?
No, I didn't. No, I might. I don't think I can afford her right now.
We will chase her down for you.
Tell her I'm a huge fan.
She might get bored with News Talk, and she needs to be based in it. She lives in Greystones, I think, so a bit of a trek. Mind you can go, we won't even go there.
Yeah.
Sharon Farrell, thank you so much. Anybody who wants to find you will find you where?
They will find us on our website, Face Credit Consultancy. They'll find us on LinkedIn. They'll find us on Instagram, face.credit consultancy, and Facebook. So we are everywhere. And we also, as you said, have the Credit Pearls podcast, which is on Spotify, Apple, and across all of those channels.
Good podcast platforms, isn't that it?
That's it. All good podcast platforms.
You better put your teeth in and back in again now. Sharon Farrell, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
Want to increase sales, reduce overheads, and provide customers with a better service? Then use Big Red Web, the easiest way to develop and maintain your website. It gives you powerful business reporting, digital marketing, and automatically integrates with the award-winning Big Red cloud accounting software. It's a game changer for SME businesses. It's so good, the government gives you a €2,500 grant towards it. Big Red Web, e-commerce made simple. BigRedCloud.com/web.
De facto shaving oil, made only from natural oils. Nothing nasty on your skin.
This interview was first posted on episode 126 of That Great Business Show. Make sure to share it with anybody who is finding it difficult to get paid. For more business insights, listen to the entire back catalogue of That